You've just arrived.
It doesn't matter!
Oh, God. That was the bit. I thought you were going to come in when I thought you were going to come in when you were about to say your name.
Oh,
like that would have been the announcement,
try
right?
again?
Yeah.
Do it again.
Try it again. Okay.
This is so stupid.
Oh, there we go.
You've just arrived to the welcome party, your exclusive invitation of pop culture.
We are here to directly combat pop culture gatekeeping, and each week we throw a live stream podcast party matching our fans' most favorite fandoms.
And don't worry if you haven't watched or participated in it, because our chat can always derail us into something else.
Today's party theme is going to be Kurosh's birthday stream.
Woo! Bow, bow, bow.
You have to introduce yourself.
I'm Alix Catherine, your host, moderator, and gate crashing party queen. With me, as always,
Speaking of gate crashing, it is Cole, your personal geek, color. Known for one thing.
And I'm JPG, pop culture educator and consultant.
Oh, that's cool.
Today's Burn Baby Burn emote is going to be replaced by King.
Oh, that's good. Okay, of course. That was
10 out of 10, no notes.
No notes. Let's start the show. We're doing Kurosh's birthday stream, and whenever we do a birthday stream on here, we are kind of we're subjected to whatever the birthday person wants us to experience, I guess.
He loves it.
You know, I do have to say, spoiler alert, I did enjoy this more than I thought I would.
Oh, same. I honestly...
Do you just have like a bunch of reaction, just a bunch of reaction
Was
photos
that
ready
you?
for us?
no.
Okay, that's definitely not you.
Yeah.
Kurosh was
I
ready
don't
for
even
this.
see a meme. Do you see a meme?
Yeah, it's just a blank picture.
Just a blank picture.
This is just a, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what you're-
I just assumed it was like an insert picture here. Okay, from tonight's homework, I hate that man.
Oh, no. Okay. So,
Well, I hate the character he portrays. Let me rephrase. I hate the Roman Reigns character.
Kurosh, would you like to speak a little bit as to what you had assigned
Oh, we
to
missed
us?
a hydrate.
Oh, we missed the hydrate?
Just for a reminder, hydrate legally does have to be water.
Water!
Okay, so I'm giving a brief recap of what the assignment was.
And,
Okay,
why,
so-
and why you chose it?
Okay, so I love wrestling. I've loved wrestling since I was a little kid. The stories always were fun or silly or serious or impactful in whatever way. But I digress. I was given a choice to do this, and I chose wrestling. And so what I did was I gave each of you a storyline to follow. And I tried to give you a storyline that had a conclusion of sorts or was relevant recently. So it was either a completed story and reached a kind of like a big milestone, or it was current.
He was going to
and
say
it's up to date.
climax.
So I gave each of you a storyline to follow. I tried to give you some context leading into the story, and then gave you a few things to watch with 1 or 2 matches to go with it.
I love how he's still going all in.
What do you mean?
Well, Cole and I found out right before the show that Kurosh assigned the same exact storyline to the both of us.
And my first thought was, oh, Kurosh accidentally sent the same links, because I've done that. I have definitely sent someone links or pictures, and then I get a response of like, I don't think that's what you meant to send, or like, I've already seen this.
Right.
So when JPG was like, you too? My first thought was, oh no, what were we supposed to cover? But turns out,
Kurosh messed with us.
yep.
You guys want my favorite part of this? How long was your homework?
It was like 8 hours.
Mine was about an hour and a half.
Oh, God. Kurosh really playing to his audience right now.
Yeah, I knew what I was doing.
And I still barely finished it. It's fine.
Now, I will say I greatly appreciated the homework because I only knew about, oh, I'm sorry. Kurosh, did you tell them what we're doing?
Oh, So the two stories, I'm just trying to pull up some images to help.
Two stories.
Visual.
I had a different story.
Yeah,
Oh,
Alex
you
had a different
understood.
storyline.
I
yeah.
actually did. Oh, I was fucking with you earlier.
Oh, I thought.
I did have my JPG knew.
Yeah.
I had a
so I'll
totally
start with
different one.
Alex's. So Alex's story
Sorry.
was one of
Sorry
the
about it.
current story arcs going on between two of our women pro wrestlers. It's between Rhea Ripley, also known as Mommy, and Liv Morgan, who's the current WWE Women's Champion.
I was about to ask who is who, but I see one with a belt. So if that's not who the current
No, you've
champion
nailed
is,
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
no, that's accurate representing the current.
The one on the left is called Mommy?
She's known as Rhea
She
Ripley.
earned the nickname Mommy.
Oh, God, what did she do?
She's a mommy.
Oh, God. Okay.
Not a mommy, a mommy.
Oh, you got to say it certainly?
Like mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry.
Got it.
Mommy, sorry.
Okay.
So, Alex, what were your
Yes.
first impressions of this particular story? Did you get any context? Did you do any studying?
Outside of the videos?
Yes.
No. I watched
Strong
the
start.
videos that okay, so Kurosh sent me 3 videos. One was a YouTube of about an hour and 8 minutes.
Oh.
One was a like promo video that was about 3 minutes, and then one was the final battle, which was about 18 minutes. That I watched faster than it's meant to be played.
Legitimate question, and
Yes.
this is for JPG or Kurosh, unless you've done homework and you know this.
I've not.
Well, hold on. You may. You never know. Is the reason why Alex's was only 1 hour as opposed to our 8.5 because they're now focusing on women's storytelling?
No. So this story specifically is a more recent story, and the recap for it was a little bit more concise. The storyline you two followed was more of almost like an MCU kind of thing, where it's like
Oh.
multiple phases to it. So there was more nuances to it, but also I was doing what JPG said. I knew who my audience was, and I was trying to make sure everyone did their assignments.
It did. What
But
about,
it is the most recent
Thanks,
storyline
Kurosh.
currently going on right now for the women's title.
and is women's title like the WNBA where it's been around forever, but they're now putting focus on it, or
It hasn't been around forever, but
Okay.
it has been around for a good while now.
I
It
would
has been
say-
more taken seriously as of late. I'd say in the last 8 or so years, it's more of like a
Oh, that's
serious
longer
thing
than I
to-
expected.
to be in somewhat of a legitimate state. But it's been a very transformative 8 years, I would say. It's
Okay.
been a
Cole,
lot
they
of
want to
big-
see your wrestling pose.
Cole, they want a wrestling pose from you.
Yeah.
oh,
Like the chat
like
would like
your,
a wrestling
your
pose.
little huh.
Yeah, like give him like a
oh, they want like the whole
Something.
like
Yeah.
like flexing or something.
yeah, give
Yeah.
him something.
They wanted to see your wrestling,
Which,
what you learned.
Can you show?
like a huh or a
I mean, you got to do
huh.
like a Mr. Universe one, right? Like a
You know Randy
like
Orton, Cole?
I don't.
Can somebody screenshot that for me?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So like that.
Like point a little bit. Like point. Yeah, there it is.
That?
Yeah. Okay, good.
You're
That's beautiful.
welcome.
Oh, with the hands too. Do it with the hands. Yeah. With
I've,
the-
I've
yeah.
only seen like either this or it's always like
Making this kind of face?
what?
Can you do the Rock's eyebrow?
No. If I could, trust me, I would be doing it a lot. You would know I could do it.
If anything you see here is worth $1.
Yeah. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. The hands were good though when you did the hands. Yeah, see?
See, that should be your move. Just like
I know, man.
The hands.
like I'm gonna bear claw you. Like
See, all I would do is like, have you seen my beach ball? It's about this big and it went that way. Except the sweater is covering my very large muscles. I definitely have.
we got PG stripping yesterday. What the fuck?
We did.
Oh, they want to see your tattoos.
Like tattoos? Oh, after I
tattoos.
put the sleeve down. Okay.
We're gonna zoom it.
we gonna zoom?
We're gonna zoom it.
Alright. What? Well, it depends where the zoom goes.
Yeah.
Zoom. Zoom. Oh. And then we'll talk about wrestling.
Yeah, actually, I had a lot of fun. Okay. Oh goodness. Okay. So there's Green Lantern. It's supposed to be like. Oh, thank you, Kurosh. So it's like space going down. BB-8, and that's the sunset right there. But what's really cool is my planets are my sport. It's my sports knot.
Sports ball.
Yeah, so that's like my Lakers, the Ducks, Cleveland, and then the Rams are right there. But the one that means the most to me is this one. It's not the Jedi Rebel, even though everyone would assume that. It's actually the Lord of the Rings One Ring speech, because that was the last conversation I had with my grandma before she passed away. Not knowing it was the last conversation. So that's also why I have I always have the ring on me.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Rhea Ripley and it was Liv Morgan, correct?
Yes.
What were your first impressions?
Remind me who's who. I still don't know names.
Rhea Ripley. Rhea?
Is mommy?
Mommy.
Oh, okay. Rhea's mommy.
And then Liv Morgan is the one on the right.
Gotcha.
For us. I don't know what you guys can see. I'm going to start by saying I've never watched wrestling before. I mean, I've seen a little bit of the orange juice guy.
The orange juice guy.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy?
Yeah. I've seen a little bit of his stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. From indie, like indie stuff, right?
Yeah, that somebody showed me.
Okay.
Other than that, I haven't really watched anything. So I really appreciate that what Kurosh gave us had a full breakdown. And if we haven't already done it, I've totally looked in the Discord, but let's just pretend I haven't. Kurosh will put all the links in there if he hasn't already, so that people can watch what we watched.
I can, but I didn't know how much you want me to reveal before, but I can share that after today. For anyone that wants to.
But it's really cool because the two started, at least what I saw, they started as a tag team. Mm-hmm. And what I was really impressed with was how they create. Wrestling is not my thing, but take that out of it. I was really impressed with how they created the storyline.
In what sense?
It was the two of them as a team, and you see them getting along really well, and then you see the moment that Liv isn't there for her and they lose. Mm-hmm. And then she turns to the dark side and you see her become the heel.
Yes.
Very good. Do you know the other term for like a good guy, quote unquote?
The sexy.
Yes.
Kurosh, please remind me, that would be a face, correct?
Yeah, the common terms in wrestling are heel and face.
I knew that. So you could see even like she's blonde here, and then she ends up with like black hair as she kind of goes to the dark side. And she joins a group because a lot of the videos had like multiple teams, like a 4-person and an 8-person and a what was the name of the team again?
The Judgment Day.
The Judgment Day. So those were the heels. And so then you see her injure Liv Morgan out of wrestling. Like she uses a chair, puts it around her arm, and literally stomps it twice. So that she's injured and she's out for 6 months. I would love to know what really happened that she was out for 6 months. But she was out for 6 months. I
like to think a planned vacation, right?
Sometimes it can be. More so in today's culture, they've done better job of allowing for wrestlers to have time off.
Well, because
with the amount of people they have in a company like WWE, it rotates stuff like that. But it could also be another serious injury that they do need time off, and they get written off in a fashion like that.
Gotcha.
I was also reading some statistics about like wrestling from the 60s to the 90s as well. And on average, a popular wrestler would work 300 out of 365 days in the year.
Well, that's why it was like a big deal about them getting medical insurance.
Did you just... Oh, man. Dude, Kurosh, she spilled all of your expensive whiskey everywhere right now.
Oh, my God.
So
Did she drop it on the cake?
How much are we drinking tonight?
I don't know.
Because I'm already done.
I mean, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Kurosh, I'm going to pass it over to you so you can both fill up. So, okay. From...
Sorry, everything's fine.
Oh, God. In the chat right now...
Everything's fine, guys.
Okay. So in the chat, Reed says right now that there was no face.
He's so much nicer than you when it comes to pouring.
What do you mean?
Like
what do you mean?
More?
He did a cold pour.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's because... Yeah, you're not going to be able to drive home. Do you know how single malt whiskey works?
No.
It doesn't matter if you know.
That was real late, Kurosh.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay, Kurosh, because it's your birthday and we're here for you.
So back to my storyline.
Yes.
So we make it all the way through to Liv Morgan returning and her revenge tour.
How long was that?
A year?
It was almost.
She was off for 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months, 6 to 9 months, I think, roughly.
She was
actually injured, according to the chat.
Oh, okay.
According to Reed.
because like sometimes I am curious, but I hate when wrestlers get injured chair because sometimes they actually do it.
Oh yeah, I mean the
For the craft and
the
I just-
amount,
Kira?
the amount of for the
can I?
craft injuries that we see. I mean, people have died in the ring as well too. So
The story I heard that still messes with me is some
I don't think I wanna
wrestlers
hear
to
this.
get the bleeding down, they have a razor blade in their mouth.
oh yeah, and you cut the soft portions of your forehead.
Yeah.
Usually now they have it in wristbands, or they have the ref hands it to them,
Jesus.
and
I just
it'll just be like
cutting
hey, give me-
yourself. It just
and it's cutting.
there's like I understand stunts and I understand performing for a live crowd, but I draw the line at actually cutting. Like that's or
It's a
breaking
lot.
limbs on on spot.
I mean, it's something that I am not a part of it culturally. So I know that there's a storied history and background of it, and so I mean, I'm hoping that they're investing in safe ways to do these types of things, and I'm absolutely sure in the last 20 years we've seen an uptick in safety for wrestling in general, right?
I mean, it is 2024. You would hope so at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what did you what did you think about the storyline in general?
So the storyline itself, I thought was actually really good. I mean, I love reality TV and I love drama. So I loved that it was like, oh, we're a team. And then all of a sudden I've turned on you. And then she's gone fully to the dark side. And then there was like a romantic twist. And then there was a romantic twist again.
Oh, because there is a third character in this.
Am I allowed to spoil?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
spoiling.
this is
Okay.
recent, so I know some of the fans in the chat were curious how up to date it would go to.
So it went to the Summer Slam, and Dominic's. It was in the preview trailer that was, I guess, with Ripley or Mommy, and then at some point, Liv Morgan took him from her, and then 2 weeks before the big event, she's like, "I just need you to say those 3 words," and he says, "I hate you," and then she leaves crying, and then they have the full battle, and he ends up like doing something that makes it so Liv Morgan wins,
Who's
and
Dom?
then.
Dominic Mysterio is a part of the Judgment Day. He's Rey Mysterio's son. It's not necessarily important in the story. The main thing is that Dominic Mysterio is part of Judgment Day and kind of becomes like
The coach?
the sub to if Mommy is a dom, like she's the top. They often make jokes and allude to he's the bottom in their relationship.
Oh no.
I mean,
How
but
dare he.
you're also mentioning like a story dynasty, right? Because like he's third generation wrestler
Yes.
at least.
Yes.
Because it's Rey Mysterio Jr. and Dominic Mysterio, correct?
So to understand correctly, Dom was dating who?
Dom was
Mommy.
with
Mommy?
Rhea Ripley.
So Mommy would have to sit on him for him to be on the bottom.
I mean,
That's
not necessarily. That's not how
not
Dom sub
necessarily,
works.
yeah, but it's
I mean, it's not that they probably don't do that. Well, I don't think they're actually together in real life.
They're
but
not. He's married with someone else.
see,
Because-
this brings another part of this that I was saving to talk about at the very end, but oh my god, like I wonder how difficult it is for them to go out in the world and talk to people as regular versus their stereotype, their character
their
traits, I'm sorry?
character.
that was something that I actually did a lot of research on.
Of
course you
Yeah,
No,
so
I'm actually happy about this
Well,
because,
no,
I
because-
have so many questions about some of the bloodline people.
Yeah, so I was reading a few articles about the idea of bleed, right? Where if you play TTRPGs, the idea of bleed is that you have the story and the emotions that you feel in the story affect your actual life outside of the narrative,
Yeah.
right? And how and how wrestling companies have recently tried to stop bleed as much as they possibly can because I think what happens a lot, right, is that with traditional actors, you have them acting on screen and then you have regular life stuff. You have interviews with them. You have a lot of that stuff, right? As opposed with wrestlers, right? There's a lot more bleed when it comes to that stuff. I mean, even in the 70s and the 80s, you had professional wrestlers like attack each other on like late night shows, and they would carry their personas into real life, right? And you've seen kind of like a stoppage of this in like the last 10 to 20 years because of places like the Make-A-Wish Foundation. and to where kids are like, oh, I really want to meet these people, but these people are very sweet and nice in real life, and so they're cutting down on that bleed in order to make sure that they can have both an acting personality and a real life personality, which I love.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There's two things. One, certain wrestlers, it's part of their culture. So, for instance, we're talking about Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio. The luchador mask, like, he goes everywhere with that thing in public.
Why did he take it off?
Rey Mysterio?
Yeah.
There were story things that he agreed to at earlier ages in his life, but he largely now has always kept it due to who he is as a luchador.
Well, because, like, so I don't know if you remember this, but we've been doing this show for, like, what, 10, 15 years?
15, yeah.
We met someone who was, how do I say it?
A luchador.
A luchador?
Yeah.
A luchador wrestler, and he was a comic book writer.
Wrestler.
Oh, yeah. Luchador wrestler is like saying chai tea. So luchador already means wrestler.
Okay,
so you can
a
just say a luchador.
Is this luchador? Okay.
Yeah.
So he said he was
Thank
putting
you,
on the
Art.
mask, and he
Non-Brit?
was like, I'm never taking this off ever again because he's not allowed to. So when I saw on WWE or whatever it was called back then, and he took it off, I was wondering how much hate he got.
Yeah, it was something I think he has talked about of regretting doing at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was something that like he had talked about being forced into something like being forced into this.
Oh,
And then
storyline-wise?
I mean, like company-wise,
Well, 'cause
right?
company
Like real
pressures.
life. Yeah.
They're very white. I mean that as disrespectfully as possible because
Okay. Like the choice to make him do that is a very white
yeah,
decision. Okay.
'cause
Yes.
to them it's just taking off a mask, not knowing about the culture.
Exactly.
And the thing that pissed me off, like I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but is why is Cody Rhodes and all the white guys in suits and then the bloodlines in like street clothes?
Oh God. Okay. I had a lot of opinions about that. So.
Before we go to that, I did have one more question for Alex, and then I
Yeah.
had a quick take come by Arsenal that I want to make sure I get.
Oh, yeah.
So for Alex, I know that the storylines went both ways in terms of who was
Sorry, that
getting
went over.
revenge on who. Did you find yourself leaning towards sympathizing to one of the two more than the other? And if
Oh,
so,
I like Ripley way better. I'm Team Ripley.
Hold on,
What?
time out. Come on, I'm gonna interrupt you. I'm sorry. I interrupt everyone, so welcome to the family.
Yeah.
It's his birthday.
Happy birthday,
Cole.
Kurosh.
Hey, you know what? I don't think I've interrupted him before, so you know what? Happy birthday.
Yeah. How did that feel? How's your first interrupt feel?
doesn't feel good.
You know what the best part is? I gave you the full package. I went, hold on, and I put my hand up too to stop you. But which Art has told me I do, and it sucks because I can't unsee it.
You could just undo it and not.
No. Anyway, Alex,
Cool.
did you like Ripley because you found her attractive, or did you side with her because of the story?
The story.
She's like, yes.
It's funny because I thought I was gonna like Liv Morgan more. Like when it first started, when I was first watching it, I was like, oh, Liv Morgan's cute. She's fun. I like it. And then as they started separating, I was like, she's kind of like her character, not her as a person.
I don't think I know her as a person.
Right. I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. I don't enjoy her character very much. I find her a little annoying. And so I was way more on the dark side of things. I was like, yeah, go evil. And then it was just kind of fun. So I was definitely more Rhea Ripley. But I knew she was going to win. Like based on how the storyline was going, I knew Liv Morgan was going to win. There was no doubt in my mind because they pushed so hard for the revenge tour.
I see.
And it was her turn to get revenge. So then Rhea Ripley can then want revenge next. I did not see the guy thing coming. That was that
hate
twist.
you?
I was like, oh, no. That part was fine. When he was like, I hate you. And I'm actually with Rhea Ripley. Oh, because you cut me off earlier. So you didn't hear the rest of the story.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why we're surprised by this.
in the end, in the last battle in the SummerSlam, she pulls out the chair, which if they use the chair, they instantly lose, like, because they're not allowed to use it in this battle.
They actually care?
In this storyline,
In this
it was a
storyline,
disqualification.
it disqualifies you.
Oh.
And so he gets Ripley to not use the chair, and then he slides the chair onto the court field.
Into the ring.
Into the ring.
Oh God, that one got me in Art. Onto the court field.
You know what? Welcome to my life, which talks about sports.
Onto the court field.
Which, by the way, I need to get these people into Anaheim sports because I need people to go to games with.
You knew what I meant. So he slides it onto the ring,
Court.
which is really a square, so it's not really a ring, but that's fine. So he slides into the square, and then he distracts the referee guy, and she slams Ripley into the chair, and then he slides the chair back off. I'm sorry, she slides the chair off the
And then he hides
court. And so the ref didn't see it. And then when they're leaving, she actually walks out with him and they kiss. So it turns out that he was actually on her side the whole time. That was the twist I didn't see coming. And I was like, soap opera, love it.
Yeah.
Here for it, reality TV.
Let's go.
So we had Arsenal Roy had a quick take. Said, Kurosh, with the introduction of the women's North American title down in NXT, do you think the WWE will make an Intercontinental or U.S. title for the women's division on Raw or SmackDown? I want to give a little bit of a preface.
Can you actually come over here?
just come over here.
Since you're
Let's-
talking. And here, take the thing off so there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
And then come talk.
Yeah, we want them to see.
It's
you,
your
Kurosh.
birthday.
It's your birthday.
It's your birthday.
Birthday!
Where are you going? Your drink's waiting.
You know, if you happen to finish that, I won't be mad at it.
Okay.
Finish it.
So for Arsenal Roy, actually for the 3 of you, in the men's wrestling, there's many titles. There's so many. There's the
I gave up
world,
trying to keep up.
There's the main title, the top title. There's an Intercontinental title. There's a U.S. title. There's been tag team titles. There's been cruiserweight titles to signify different divisions. But it's honestly more than anything, it's a tier list. It's like, if you're a newcomer, you're more likely to go for the U.S. title. That's where they scrap, and you build some recognition as you go up to the world heavyweight title. For the women's division, it's generally been lacking. It's only been because there's largely 2 shows oftentimes, you'll see one show get a world women's title, and the other show gets a world women's title. Sometimes they combine them. Other times they keep them separate, but it's always just one title. They've only recently, in the last few years, brought in tag team titles. So,
I saw that. That was in the show that I watched.
yeah, that's the 2 of them. They won the tag team titles.
That's a new thing?
That's fairly new within the last 10 years, probably.
Oh.
For the women's division, having a tag team title.
Okay. Is it because there wasn't enough women wrestlers?
They
didn't contract enough women's wrestlers.
Or they just don't push it enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like we don't push that division enough. And lately, now they have a subdivision called NXT, which is for their more developmental talent. And what Arsenal Roy is saying is they have a title now that's separate from their top title in that bracket.
Did AEW get bought out by WWE?
No, they're separate.
They are separate still?
Those 2 are separate
I
companies.
thought the AEW went bankrupt.
No, that's WCW.
WCW
That
went
was
bankrupt.
years ago. That was way back when. That was like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man.
Yeah,
Sting.
that's what kicked off the NWO and that particular story arc.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, we can talk about that later because I did watch that documentary and I know way too much about that. But okay, so here's my question for women wrestling. The fuck was that laugh for? When did the transition go from them being just models or fighting like girls?
Again,
versus-
that was a more recent. I'd say in the last 10 or so years, there was more we need to really push into this division of treating it more seriously. I think that's also very much tied to Vince McMahon's involvement in WWE because he very much was.
Isn't he being sued for being
a lot of bad things?
Yeah, okay. Just making sure we're on the same page.
Every bad thing.
Everything you can think of bad, and probably and also specifically towards women that worked for him. But it was a very womanizing, very sexist, very bad culture. And over the years, just on screen and off screen, there's been more reputability, more credibility being brought to women's division, both from a lot of the wrestlers pushing the boundaries and building it in a serious way. And Triple H has been a big proponent of it. He's now in a creative position back.
Who's also being sued for bad things.
That's
You
Brock
can
Lesnar.
actually
No, isn't Triple H also?
no.
No, he's not as involved.
Mm-mm.
It may be just WWE, but he's
Okay.
Maybe.
No, because I thought something happened with Triple H.
In other combat sports, right, like the UFC, you've been seeing this shift in the last 10 to 15 years as well for the women's divisions, right? Where now they have they've standardized weight classes. On top of, they've had a lot of breakout stars, right? Especially towards the beginning of this, you had Rose Namajunas. Rachel Ostovich was fighting for a while.
I don't know any of these
Yeah, so these were incredible fighters, right?
Okay.
And so yeah, so you've seen the legitimacy come up in the last 10 years with combat sports in general when it comes to taking women's fights very seriously.
And there's stories, much like what I gave for Alix for an assignment. But to Arsenal's take, I don't see them doing that, adding a U.S. and Intercontinental, those other titles, just because of how they've treated the tag team titles. The last time I cared was when Rhea and Liv Morgan, like the screen time that whoever the champions are now, they hardly get any. And so that kind of speaks to what they think of as a company of that title, let alone adding more. I feel like would be just squander all of it.
It is really interesting. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are for the TV, but when you're watching those clips, that is a full stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a full stadium that is chanting, that is screaming, that has signs. Like, the investment, I feel like, from the fans is there.
Oh, no, to me, when I was watching it, the fans make the show because as a performer, the energy that you receive, you're able to give out even more. And so the Kurosh homework started in 2020, and I forgot how awkward those screens were.
Well, I mean, I will say, right, and I think we're going to be transitioning into mine and Cole's homework was...
I'm going to step back.
Okay.
Yeah. You go back.
You know... Are you going to get a drink? Okay. Which we're transitioning into mine and Cole's homework, which was actually the Bloodlines story arc. Is that appropriate to call it the Bloodlines?
No,
story arc? Okay.
it is very much. There's a lot of things that revolve with other characters and the outcomes that came out of it, involving Cody Rhodes and other people. But it is very much a story about the individuals in the Bloodline. Like, that is front and center what has been going on. If you look at what they were pre and you look at how they are in post, you're like, the people that have been impacted the most are the people involved in that.
I want to rewatch because on Paramount, if you subscribe, Paramount, you can watch all of the wrestling. And I kind of want to make a drinking game. Every time you hear "acknowledge me," you take a drink. Because I'd be fucked up.
Well, I mean, I would argue
acknowledge me.
I would argue though also that we can with like the Attitude Era, right? Okay, so like every time D-Generation X came out, and then they did the Suck It. If we had a drink every time somebody did that on screen, we would die, right?
You'd be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, and we would, but it's also, it's about brand recognition, right? The more repetitive you are with it, and the more impactful it is when you say these types of things, the more you're going to be remembered.
I mean, here's the thing that I love about Roman Reigns. Is that his real name? Or is that his stage name?
I think that's his stage name. His name is Joe. I forget his something.
We won't. If it's private, we will.
No, he's public. Oh. He used to be an NFL player. Mm-hmm. Baltimore, I think, was the team. I have to look it up, but he was an NFL.
I need to know who he was.
It was really recognize him. It was really early in his he did it a little.
Well, because I know Dwayne Johnson was a college player.
Yeah,
but Roman Reigns was a football player.
Yeah, I want to say it was professional.
Yeah, maybe maybe Arsenal Reed or someone.
If anyone can Google that, please let me know. I'm a giant sports fan, and I play Madden, so I usually love names.
Reed in the chat is saying it's Joe Iokea. Yeah.
And he was in...
I don't think I pronounced that correctly.
Do you remember other career things he was in the spin-off of Fast and Furious with The Rock and Jason Statham? Where they had
He was already Roman Reigns at that point.
Yeah, but... I'm just saying, he had a little bit of an acting career.
Oh, sorry, correction. It's Leati Joseph Anoa'i.
Oh my God, Reed, can you tell me what year he was in Madden? And then, no, this is important to me. And then Kurosh. Okay, so for shit, I lost it.
That's okay.
No. Oh, fuck. What were we talking about before that?
Acknowledge me.
Acknowledge me.
You hate him, but don't.
I lost
Roman
it.
Reigns.
Sorry,
that's
ADHD,
okay, buddy. So, with this particular story arc,
did you know anything about it going in?
I knew about the leukemia diagnosis that Roman Reigns had in 2018, and so I knew about that because that did make more like mainstream news cycles.
Yeah.
And so, of course, right, like it's the separation between the character and the person itself, right? And to have gotten to battle that particular diagnosis, right, is like, it's incredible, and to get to bounce back from that, right? Especially because professional wrestling is so taxing.
Yes.
And so it was also like really the other part that I knew was that there is a long and storied history with Samoan culture when it comes to being in professional wrestling as well, too, right?
Haven't they been there since the beginning?
Well, I would say that there have been like very impactful Samoan
there's a hydrate.
wrestlers.
Water.
That's water. Yeah, that's water. And from there,
Okay.
but you have to also remember, right? Like with Samoans, because of stereotypes about their sizing and things like that, right? Getting to be on camera as these characters were really some of the first times that we're seeing them in pop culture. It's a big deal, right? Like there were a lot. I mean, okay, we start with even The Rock, right? His very first
their
name.
Whole family.
Yeah.
It's all one. Like at least the ones within the storyline here, and a few others that like Rikishi is related to this family. He's the father of the Uso brothers, the twins. He's their father. Then The Rock and Roman Reigns are cousins.
Yeah, but then
That's real?
Yeah, all of the family lineage involving the Samoans involving the bloodline, all legit, all real.
Yeah, but then
Interesting.
I think we also forget as well that when The Rock first started, his original name was Rocky Maivia, correct?
Right.
Yeah,
Because he was
in the WWE
WWF at the time.
He
He was
Yeah.
acknowledging
his father.
thank you.
is Rocky Johnson,
Yeah,
and his grandfather was oh my gosh,
There's a tree they had in part of
they
the
had a-
storyline.
yeah, they had a- the tree was
They
awesome.
pulled out like a Game of Thrones-esque tree.
Yeah.
the one thing I will say from the homework that Kurosh gave us,
Again.
it made me appreciate the story
I ate
bits for
cake.
the bloodline.
I think we're gonna
Happy
need to jump
birthday.
around because the Bloodline is a 4-year process.
I
right?
didn't realize until the Kurosh. Oh, bye art.
Bye, Art.
Bye, Art.
Okay.
Thanks for hanging
The
out.
very first thing I was a little bit confused about. Okay, first and foremost, right? Like having family in this particular business, I'm sure is very comforting. And you have the Uso brothers who are cousins of Roman Reigns, and you have Jay and Jimmy Uso, and then their little brother, was it Solo?
Yeah.
Comes a little bit
From
after this.
NXT, which was
Okay.
interesting to me.
So this was super confusing, but I was a little taken aback about when Sami Zayn comes in. Because I was like, okay, so this dude like tattled and then like became an honorary Uso?
So he was my favorite part, but that's because of TikTok. So spoiler for me for this homework was the Sami Zayn story is what I knew first.
Oh, okay. So with Sami Zayn, right? They made this big deal about how him and KO, like they were like in each other's weddings or something
Yes.
like that. Kurosh, could you expand on how like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn like interacted with each other in the storylines?
In
Like,
this specific storyline?
or just any?
Before-
Like, how did
before
they
the
know
storyline.
each
They
other?
have a
Yeah.
long history that just is their wrestling careers. They were both in the indie circuit, and they've been just friends and peers. They both come from Canadian wrestling, and so they've just known each other from company to company to company. And when they both came to WWE, there was almost this known like we know you too, and they've had friendships and rivalry. So
Like,
it's basically
I-
a
I'm
love-hate.
Canadian wrestling, and I just picture like somebody jumps on somebody and they're like, "So sorry, eh?" Like they just
Oh,
constantly
you
apologize
said
to
that-
like the entire wrestling.
You said that because Kira's not in the chat right now. Somebody clip it and then blackmail Alix for
Like,
this.
it's
So-
just like the nicest wrestling ever. They're helping each other up. Like
Spoiler for anyone who didn't pay attention to WrestleMania 24? 24. WrestleMania 24?
The most recent one?
XL.
No,
WrestleMania
that's
XL.
40. This most recent one was 40.
It was 40.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I meant the year. 2024.
Oh, 2024. Okay,
Okay.
I was like,
No, I'm sorry. I meant the year. I'm so
it's
sorry,
getting really
Kurosh.
confusing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until he was like correcting me, and I was like, "What? Oh, yeah." So I actually would have preferred Sami Zayn to take out The Rock instead of The Undertaker. Though I understand.
Oh God, that was so random.
I understand. No, actually, it wasn't.
It wasn't random.
It wasn't.
He just didn't show up for a shift.
No. So The Undertaker always beat Dwayne Johnson. In every fight, The Rock always lost him. That's why he was so afraid of The Undertaker when he showed up.
But
and The Undertaker retired that same year.
But the connection to the storyline itself, though.
He was the only one that didn't make sense. Everyone
That's
else.
what I'm saying.
No, that ending
Literally
was
what he
very
said.
Avengers, where it was just like people showing up that you were
Yeah.
going to cheer.
Well,
Okay.
but it was
essentially-
earned. It was earned, though. That was
No.
the thing that I like.
Yeah.
If you didn't make me watch 2020, I wouldn't have given a fuck. But when the brothers beat each other up, when Jimmy got like slammed off air, I went, that was sick. When first I thought it was random, but when You Don't See Me,
John Cena?
when John Cena showed up, I went, fuck, this is revenge. But it was just, I needed the Sami Reyes to come in and just slam Dwayne Johnson, or at least give Cody the chance
Rhodes
to.
Are you
like,
gonna
win.
watch wrestling now?
What do you mean now?
We didn't watch it
I've
before.
been watching it all along.
Spoiler.
Wrestling was in your hearts all along.
The friends
No,
we
I-
made along.
Well, okay,
No,
so
I if it was like what Kurosh sent me, I'd watch
I mean, don't say that because he'll send you more things.
Yeah, I could just send
You
you guys
understand?
stuff.
Oh,
every
okay,
day.
just honestly,
Honestly.
my TikTok is filled with like wrestling stuff. Scorpio shit. I can't. Hi, help me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I want people to guess what this is, Scorpio.
Okay, can I just say something though?
What a Scorpio is part of the moon, the stars. That is called
like the constellations?
Galaxy.
God.
Like, what are you talking about,
If
dude?
if Sagittarius, Scorpio, Pisces,
the
horoscopes,
zodiac?
I'm on the whole like this is what's gonna happen to you today on TikTok.
Okay, so you know how our chat will randomly like gift subs to people to make us say things that are connected to whatever we're talking about? So we're talking about wrestling, and somebody gifted a sub to Manly Mutt. So I just assumed it was a wrestler, and it may be. I have no idea, and I'm sorry. But then they actually said something, and now I'm like, oh, it's a real person that's there. They never actually say anything.
Oh my God.
Hi.
I do need to acknowledge.
We're not talking about anime right now. We are talking about wrestling.
There's a lot of parallels between wrestling and anime, actually.
There is a lot.
But,
and I mean, like, there
Figure
are...
also
I know
had a
they
quick
are,
take.
but it didn't connect in my brain. I was just like, oh, it's a wrestler. Like, I thought you guys were fucking with us like you always do. It just didn't connect.
So what's
Kurosh,
the
what's
quick take?
what's
Oh.
that quick take?
I have to say this because it's a quick take. It's obligatory. But Fadier asked for a happy birthday song to the birthday boy. I didn't
But-
want to
Are
say.
you going to
did-
get us DMCA'd?
We will get sued if we sing that song.
Well, no, isn't that
Balls in your
in...
guys' court.
I could have sworn that was in public domain now.
I mean, I don't know if it is, but like,
I
if
thought it
I
was,
don't wanna risk it.
but I
like,
don't
we
want to.
can't sing the song, but if we said happy birthday
We can't sing,
to
but
you,
that has nothing to do with like DMCA.
happy
Kurosh?
birthday,
Yeah, I don't
To
have the skill
Kurosh?
to sing that.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. If
I feel like
anybody
I'm at
is
Chili's.
ethnic in this group chat,
That was
like,
that was so bad.
no. Do you?
I know.
Okay, but do you know?
I do know.
Okay, where's that from, Cole?
Wait, the song?
Yes,
What's it from?
yes.
Oh my God, my friends just make that joke. I've seen I don't know what that's
Where's
from.
it from?
What's that from?
So that particular happy birthday is so it's usually called like Black Kid Happy Birthday.
God damn it.
Good thing you didn't say that, Cole.
Well, I was gonna say I've heard my friends sing that song to be funny.
Look at Bionic Kenny in the chat. Kenny has my back on this one. Kenny also part of the bloodline. Because if y'all don't know, Kenny has a very cool story about his family.
Yeah.
My birthday song is just, this is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Happy birthday.
Is it legal for Cole to say that? Yeah, Fadier knows.
Fadier had your
knows.
back on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so I do have to say there were a lot of things that I really appreciated about the story arc in general. Right, number one was bringing Samoan culture to the forefront. Right,
In what sense?
there were very basic ideas about Samoan culture that that they used as story points. For example, the idea of a tribal chief, somebody in somebody in like an island nation in Polynesia, like they would be very familiar with an idea like that.
Can I ask you a question
Sure.
about the tribal chief? Why was the white guy the one that says it the fucking most, and it pissed me the fuck off?
Well, remember, we are taking all these clips in and out of context, right? So we
Yes.
don't know if they're saying.
Are you referring to Paul Heyman?
Yes.
So Paul Heyman is essentially a spokesperson. So
No, I
think
mean
the
that
only-
I caught. He was giving me like Undertaker sidekick vibes.
Yeah, no, he's sidekick, and all he is a mouthpiece. Like he just talks nonstop.
Oh,
So, that's his shtick.
I want to.
okay.
I want to correct something in the chat. Reed, I'm not talking out of my butt. Because I was making a joke about Kenny's bloodline because his grandfather is very famous for something very cool.
Actually-
so he has his own bloodline.
Yeah, and he was on TV and had me very jealous because I'm a giant fan.
Why are you slamming your water bottle?
To make a point.
Okay.
All right.
I was
so-
afraid to slam it, just have water slotch everywhere. Then I already
That
get
would
in
be funny,
trouble.
actually.
Kenny, don't say not very
Oh.
famous.
Now you care about water getting everywhere on the equipment.
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Anyway, so bringing Samoan culture to the forefront, right?
Hydrate.
I also liked that at first. Okay, so the descent into madness that Roman Reigns has
Yeah.
was a million times better than Daenerys's in Game of Thrones. Because at first,
Well,
right?
it was earned. It was earned.
Yeah, because at first, right, Roman Reigns as a character really set up the idea that at first he worked very hard, he achieved his goal, and then the idea of power slowly broke down his morals and corrupted him.
Well, I have a legitimate question about the rising to the top for the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I understand a lot of it comes from practice, the moves you're able to do, and your audience reaction to your fights.
Mm-hmm.
Why, and Kurosh, maybe you know more than JPG, I don't know. But
well,
why,
I would hope so. This is his thing.
why was Roman Reigns, before his leukemia diagnosis, or at least publicly diagnosis, why was he being pushed as a hero so hard for so long? So many of my friends that love wrestling hated Roman Reigns because they're like, we're sick of it. We don't care.
Ooh, can I say something?
Oh my God, do you know the answer?
No.
Oh.
But I have heard a lot of times that like they'll decide who they want to be the heel or the face, and it's not what the audience agrees on. And sometimes they'll shift it over, and sometimes they'll push really hard to like, no, this is who's gonna be the face, and you're gonna like it. And the audience doesn't always go along with it.
Well,
How'd I do, Kurosh?
Oh no, he got up out of
Damn
his
it.
seat.
he's on
Did I
his way.
fuck up?
Ah!
A hug. So here's what I understand. From
I did it, you guys.
from documentaries I've seen, now bear in mind, from when I was a kid, NWO was the big thing. And originally Sting was going to be the third member of the NWO.
The singer?
Yes.
Jesus.
And
Sweet baby
Do I have
Jesus.
to give the hug back?
Yeah, you're
do the hug
yeah, take the hug back, Kurosh.
but anyway, Hulk Hogan knew when Hulk Hogan saw what Kevin Nash was doing and the other members of the NWO, he was like, I need to be the third man. And then he bumped Sting, and then Sting became the hero of WWF.
Oh, wait up. Reed is saying that Sting was never considered.
No, he was saying
a
the Sting was
different type.
never.
He wasn't the dark, ominous kind of like.
I
king of
am
the
quoting literally an interview from Hulk Hogan talking about behind the scenes work of Sting being considered. You can take this up with Hulk Hogan, which, by the way, he's a piece of shit.
I wouldn't take up anything with Hulk Hogan.
Just get on live
No.
internet and say this guy that could beat my ass is a piece of shit. That was the choice that you made.
Hulk Hogan
I'm
is
sorry,
a
Alex.
piece of shit.
I mean, he probably is. I'm not saying he's not. I don't know enough. But I'm just saying, is there no fear?
Yeah.
Not in this case.
No fear whatsoever. I'm backing up Cole on this one.
So,
If that, oh man.
So here's my favorite. Okay, so we'll say this. So leading up till recent.
Has the Mandalorian always been there?
What? Yes. It's
Maybe?
been there
Yeah, I'm
since we
pretty sure it's
started
been
the
there.
show.
Really?
Yeah.
Today?
No.
You mean in general?
And, like since we came to the show like
The
a
one
year
holding
ago.
Grogu?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hulk Hogan was my favorite wrestler as a kid. And like everything from the 90s that I loved came out racist. So
Oh, he's a racism?
Oh.
So he was recorded against his will of him saying who his daughter was dating, and he used choice language.
Yeah, that was like one of the big ones where
And-
he used the N-word a whole bunch of times in that secret recording.
And
Oh,
he
no.
came out
Good
and
night,
said,
Corey.
"Oh,
Night,
good
Corey."
night." He came out and said all that stuff, but then he tried defending, saying, where I grew up, we use that word all the time.
Ugh,
And
not
then
an
he was
excuse.
shunned. And then he did a lot of work, and it seemed like he was coming back. And then he went to...
He
Political
leans
stuff.
Yeah, he leans a very specific way when it comes to
I mean, the man is
the
almost
idea
80.
of race.
Yeah. So, like, it's one of those things where I'm like, you know what? I have my childhood memories. I'm very happy for my childhood memories. And that's where he will stay.
You know, this is an interesting question.
Yeah.
And I think we might be able to connect this to the bloodline storyline as well, too. But is this a point, and Kurosh, I would love to hear your points on this as well, too. You know, in the WWE, you are playing a character, right? Now, are we able to separate the art from the artist on this?
For Hulk
No.
Hogan?
Oh, for wrestlers in general.
I feel like the biggest thing I would say is there are things that changed because of their in-ring careers in this sport, and what shifted and what moved things, what maybe shaped the way we are where we are now. And you can't deny those aspects, but as an individual, as a person, yeah, I don't think I don't know. I would say you could separate it to a degree as a
Like,
larger scope, but as an individual, I don't look at him the same way I used to look at
I'm
him.
going to ask you a hard question. And
Okay.
if you don't mind, I want you on camera.
Okay, and there's also a quick take that Arsenal had that.
That's fine, but this, I'm warning you
We'll get
before
to it in a bit.
before you go on camera. This is a very hard question that is going to make you think.
That's only hard for you.
Let me drink.
No. He needs a drink first because this is
You
this
got
is a,
it.
Hold
I
on.
got it.
This is a question.
Bring the cup.
So this is a sports question. And this is what a lot of sports fans deal with. That's really hard. Oh my God, the way Alix's head is blocking the. Oh, never mind. Okay,
I'm 2 feet tall. What do you mean?
so Kurosh, I'm gonna ask the question. I'm gonna leave and let you take my seat. Okay. Okay. Would you consider Hulk Hogan on the Mount
Rushmore?
Thank you, Mount Rushmore of wrestling, considering everything that's come out about him?
Well, considering what we know about the people on Mount Rushmore, I think you can still.
Oh my God. I've never been more proud of you for a joke in my life.
That was actually really
That was so good.
If we do not get cheers for that, who is this chat?
I have never been more proud of you for a joke.
Also, Freddie on YouTube who's fucking pissed, fuck you! This is still on YouTube, by the way.
I'm so sorry that came out too. Go ahead.
Kurosh, go for it. Let's talk about your Mount Rushmore.
He was not on my Mount Rushmore before or after.
Oh.
Interesting.
I would
yeah.
say
Oh, I got a bitty.
the things he did are a bit.
Just one.
I guess on the spot it's hard to say who my Mount Rushmore is. I would definitely say Roman Reigns is one of them. Largely because what he's done for storytelling in wrestling is one of my favorite things, and it's one of the things that reminds me most of anime. The long form storytelling that is like little subtleties and what he calls trying to do the thing. Okay, so sorry. The long form storytelling he does. The storyline, 4 years or so? This is span, and it isn't that it's over. I want you guys to know. You guys got to a conclusion of it, but it's only like, as Paul Heyman has said, we're only in like the third inning. The story has still continued.
Yeah.
He disappeared after that final match, Roman Reigns I'm speaking of, and he's now returned, and there's a new thing going on, which will lead into the quick take. But what his story and the attention he's brought to him and his family, and that it's like you can't take the camera off of them. It's not any one entity. It's not a Hulk Hogan. It's not a John Cena. It's not The Rock. It is all of them that you have to pay attention to. Roman Reigns made that occur. He was the fulcrum for all of that, and I think that very much to his MO and brand, you acknowledge that.
Well, I think, to be contrarian about a lot of fans who are like, oh, Roman Reigns is only getting pushed by the organization. He doesn't deserve this, things like that. I think this particular story arc
This alone
has really proved why this guy deserves it.
Everything before, I don't attribute to him as a fault. It was more like what Alex, you had said so proudly that made me cry a little bit. It is very much fans of wrestling know sincere and genuine storytelling. They know when something's being pushed on them. They know when something's not being pushed on. You don't want a story that you're being force-fed. You want to naturally start rooting for someone or booing someone. There's natural progressions, and the job of the storytellers and the writers is to pay attention to that, keep a close ear to that, and lean into whatever it goes. That's what makes, I think, the Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan story work so well. There's a natural chemistry, and then there's just a sincerity to, like, who is the villain here? I don't know. Like, they're both wronged each other. There's more to it. There's complexities to it.
Right. Like, Liv Morgan really wasn't there for her, and she was off screen. You don't know where she was. And
Yeah.
they did mess with the same guy, and you do see it kind of flow, which I was really impressed with.
So I would say that was my Mount Rushmore is start with Roman Reigns. Then I would say Kurt Angle in a lot of ways. He came in. There's a lot of history about him just coming in as a Olympic gold medalist. But what he did coming into the industry, he brought a lot of levity and humor in a level in the same way that The Rock did, where it was very much. It's a thing that you take so seriously and so intense. It was the Attitude Era. It was this really extreme
Dramedy.
There's there's a lot of dramedy and everything. But he brought it. There was this like PG humor to him that he knew would offset everything and would come off cringe, but in a good way. And like that balance of humor with intensity and drama, and he could bring the combat. Like, he was a trained amateur pro wrestler, and he knew how to translate that into a showman sport. So I would say Roman Reigns, Kurt Angle. I gotta say, this is tough.
Are you naming anybody from like the indie or the Japanese?
Yes, there's one specifically, but I want to save him for last.
Okay.
I would say the third one, Randy Orton. I'm gonna say Randy Orton.
Oh,
he's a third generation superstar, and I grew up with him, and I think he has proven to me like you don't like. There's a lot of wrestlers that do a lot of flashy, sensational things. He has not done that. He's it's always been the character work and the very slow and steady within the ring work that he's done. So I'm getting into the nerdy bits of this, but
The whole bit
it
is
was
the
almost
nerdy
like
bit.
less is more. Like with everything he did, it wasn't about like how many 15,000 things he could do. He was almost the opposite of whatever Rey Mysterio embodied. Randy Orton was like the other end of that spectrum in what he embodied. Very much character work, very much like the little nuances he would do. So I appreciated that. And my fourth one is Kenny Omega. That's cool. Kenny Omega is a New Japan Pro wrestler. He's an American. He's a Canadian. Canadians are very good wrestlers, I should say.
They're so nice.
Very unapologetic about what they do.
Oh, come on.
But Kenny Omega made in the closest way I could say for indie and for Kenny Omega's. Okay, I'll say this. He started pro wrestling by doing kamehamehas and fighting inanimate objects and children in ways that
Sorry, fighting children?
the children in a way that the children were beating the crap out of him in a believable way.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Because
There's one specific one where it's the owner of
Bye,
the wrestling
Lenny.
program. Oh, bye. Bye, Lenny.
Okay, so
but he was fighting a specific owner's daughter on screen. Cole's just zooming.
yeah, Cole's just
This
zooming
is what
back and
professional
forth on this
wrestling
one, dude.
camera
Yeah.
angles go. There's
Yeah.
just 1,000 guys.
I go to school for this, man.
No, man.
Did you pass?
I'm an A student.
Yeah. So, okay, the one thing I would say about you can just zoom out, dude. It's fine, man.
Oh, you don't like that?
just have all of us on camera. This dude. Okay.
That's not what kids are.
The one thing I would say, right, is that first and foremost, Kurosh, thank you for all the homework, because this has really solidified my personal belief because I think a lot of people take away, exclude professional wrestling as a combat sport, and that's always bothered me. And I think another thing that I've seen, right, is that in combat sports, the Japanese combat sports really take things to the next level. And I would also say that Western combat sports, they take the ideas that Eastern combat sports are pushing, and they really bring it into the mainstream and the limelight.
Yes, there's a wider general audience appeal
Yes.
to Western professional wrestling as opposed to Japanese.
And to Cole's point, right? You know, like Cole was switching between the camera angles, and then you also, with Western wrestling, you see a lot of switches of camera angles, especially during strikes. This is an issue with Western combat on camera in general. I've complained about this multiple times on our show whenever we're watching films with combat in it. But you will also see Eastern combat sports with less camera work because they want you to see the action that is happening on air.
That's fair. I would also, several in the chat are now saying, and I agree with this. I agree with the nature that you're saying it's a sport.
Mm-hmm.
I think what it presents itself as a combat sport is more of not an illusion, but it's more of a stage. It's more of like, I would say in a sport in the way that you would think of, and I don't know how accurate this is, but I would say like dance is a sport. It's a performance art. In a lot of ways.
Okay, so
there's
between it being a combat sport or a performance art, you would lean more towards
It's
performance.
way
I would
more
lean
of a
toward performance art
way more-
because
there-
it's predetermined, so it's not competitive.
Well, I would say that a dance is predetermined. And please, I'm playing devil's advocate at this point. I very much love the idea of this being a performance.
Wait.
Reed is saying it right. It's stage combat, but yes, Alex,
There is competitive dance, which is a sport.
Yes.
And there is performance dance, which is not a sport, it's a performance. They're not the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yes. It's I would say there's a lot of
They're both athletic.
Yes, it's an athletic activity. I think there's again the predetermined nature draws a lot to it, but there's a physicality to what they do.
100%.
Just because you would say the mat is bouncy doesn't mean it's not forgiving. It's not a foam mat.
And
it is several reinforced springy hardwoods.
Athletic as hell for sure. I just don't know if I would use the word sport because it's not actually competitive.
And that is fair, right? Because we have the word entertainment that's focused on that like sports entertainment.
Sports
yeah.
But I guess I have more of the concern with the combat side than the sports side, because I feel like, again, like you said, the dance sport you were saying, it's very much the individuals in the ring are taking cues off each other, whether they pre-plan it ahead of time and have a whole skit in mind, or they're much more improv-y. And in Japanese pro wrestling, they're much more improv-like, where they're just like, in the ring, read my cue, take this. In a lot of Western wrestling, if you watch the referee, you'll learn more about what's going to happen in the match than anything else. If you watch the referee, you'll see them go over to one. They're checking on them, but they're also giving them, they have the earpiece. They're giving him the cue of what some of the things backstage they want them, like, hey, backstage is saying, like, are you hurt? He's like, yeah, I'm hurt. Okay, you're going to take the fall in the next thing.
I want to highlight this right now because M. Walsh, first and foremost, I think this is your first time joining us at the welcome party. Thank you so much for coming in. If it's not your first time, it's been a bit since we've heard from you, so welcome back. It's a physical soap opera. It's an art form. It's great storytelling. You can insert combat sports themes into it, but anytime you have seen them dip toes into combat sports, i.e. Brawl for All, the Shamrock UFC pit, Raw, Underground, etc., it turned it to crap. It is sports entertainment, which is something that we got to say on here as well. It's acrobatic. It takes physicality, but with the exception of few people,
Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar.
You
They're
cannot
trained
compare
like
combat
amateur.
sport competitors to pro wrestlers.
Yeah, some of them have tried to make the jump, like Brock Lesnar is one of them who's successfully gone to UFC.
I would argue successfully.
I mean,
He's gotten
I will
titles.
say-
I'll say that.
I think it kind of reminds me
But
a
yeah.
little bit of like the Savannah Bananas.
Please, I'm not familiar.
Right?
Well-
like they are athletic as hell.
But
I cannot do what they
It's more of a
do,
focus on entertainment.
but it's more of a focus on entertainment.
And
And if you have not seen them, your TikTok is lacking and
Okay.
you need to up that.
I have homework
because
now.
that is the best baseball you will ever watch.
Can you please send some homework to me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Reed, when it okay,
And it's party animals and Savannah Bananas.
so
Okay.
Brock Lesnar was an amazing UFC dude. I will have to say, Brock Lesnar came into the heavyweight, into his particular weight class at a very interesting time for UFC fighters at that time. Is he a natural athlete that can just step into roles? Yes, I definitely agree. But I would say that as we found with his first few fights were great. His other fights coming up after that, we definitely found out he had a glass jaw.
Sure, sure.
As Arsenal pointed out, it is Amber O'Clock. Well, way past Amber O'Clock. And we do have some subscriptions we need to get
Cole,
to.
tag in. Yeah, we need you for that.
Kurosh, you want to do some? You want to do some?
No,
Come on, you.
I gotta use the restroom.
Nope.
Nope.
You want me to pee myself?
Yep.
Kurosh
Nope.
is gonna go. Kurosh is gonna go to the restroom.
For legal reasons, this was a joke.
Yeah, Kurosh is gonna go to the restroom. Kurosh is gonna join us for some K-Nice as well, though. All right, so I have to actually look up what we're doing in the next couple of weeks. So give me one second. Okay, so we got that.
Cole, do you know how to
one.
turn on the K-Nice is the question.
All right. Then we're gonna turn that one. Okay,
no,
great.
because I'm not
okay, so I
wearing
got
any
him.
makeup and I parted my hair on a different side than normal and I'm so self-conscious
Yeah.
today.
Oh my god.
What?
We are going to be ending the
Just
show for
telling you.
YouTube. Oh gosh, thanks again for joining us at the welcome party.
Everyone show Alix love.
Shut up.
We are going to be ending the show, and then if you are on here, if you're on Twitch with us, we're actually going to be doing our K-Nice bit. So that's the benefit of watching us live Monday nights, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. But next week, we are actually not going to be having an episode. We are going to be taking September 2nd off because it's mine and Alix's wedding anniversary. So we have been married now for 8 years and together 16. So any kind and nice things in the chat that you want to send to us, we would very much appreciate. So September 2nd, we are not having an episode. September 9th, we are coming back with a vengeance to talk about the Suicide Squad Isekai on HBO Max. And the week after that, that's going to be September 16th. We are also going to be talking about the Beetlejuice sequel, Beetlejuice, and that's going to be in theaters.
Oh yeah, I
coming
gotta
out
watch
pretty soon.
Beetlejuice.
You actually have to watch the first.
Yeah,
the
I've never
first
seen the first
yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Right. If anything you saw tonight was worth at least $1, please consider joining Perception Studios Patreon with the higher tiers. They actually come with some great benefits, and all of this goes right back into the studio. This is going to be for better lights, cameras, making sure that Kurosh is on air more with us as well. That'd be nice.
Oh my goodness.
That'd be nice. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so 2 weeks from now is going to be Suicide Squad Isekai. The one after that is going to be Beetlejuice. And that's it for the welcome party. Next time, bring a friend.
Bye.
I don't know how to end.
Jesus.
It's not my
Yeah,
job.
Kurosh is he's just hanging on by a thread.